So here we have, if you're able to pick one of these things, which one are you picking? Mother Box, Space Stone, and Time Stone all have their powers already being utilized by the Mobius chair. On top of it being able to give you access to infinite knowledge. Now, there are a ton of neat things that you're able to do as a strong enough Force user. The magic of the Helmet of Fate allows you to do most of those things, and other things too. Putting on the helmet makes you turn into a Lord of Order though and have Nabu take over your body. So even though you're able to do more things with the helmet, you're not actually going to be the one deciding what you're going to be doing, unlike with the Force. Now out of everything, technically the One Ring is one of the strongest things here, turning wizards, godlike beings, and elves into walking natural disasters. I'm a normal dude though, so it would just make me really strong and not too nice. And don't pick this, no. It's bad. And though these two answers are really neat, the White Lantern Ring is one of the strongest weapons throughout the multiverse. Basically, it allows you to do anything within the multiverse. I'm going the White Lantern Ring, what do you guys think? Having the ability to pick whatever bat suit you want, which one would you pick? Now you'll notice behind me only 4 Batman suit variations, though I'm asking any bat suit in general. Meaning even the Hellbat is a viable option. Or Zor-Anar Batman's bat suit. Or even the silly ones such as Rainbow Batman. You're even able to pick Zebra Batman if you want, though I wouldn't put it past anybody from wanting to pick the Arkham suits because you would be able to pick bat nipples. And that one's technically interchangeable. For me personally, I would pick the Batman Lantern suit, and no, I don't mean the Green Lantern suit. Even though the Hellbat is arguably the strongest bat suit and was able to put an absolute beat down on Darkseid, I would pick White Lantern Batman's bat suit because the White Lantern Ring, which is included in the ensemble, would be stronger and better utilized than the Hellbat. Which would also mean I have the power of all the other rings put into one. Go with Absolute Batman, you get a battle axe out of it. What about you? What bat suit would you want? With all these fire users fighting against each other in a battle royale, who wins? I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be Fire Lord Ozai. Scorpion alone is enough to take him out, and he doesn't even have to use his fire powers. He's just able to rip his heart out, and that's the end of it. And it's not going to be Pyro. It's not going to be Scorpion either, even though his fighting prowess does give him an advantage. Pyromancy alone isn't enough when you're going against all fire users, especially when somebody like Sunspot is able to absorb all of the heat around them and all the hits they're taking and send it right back to you. Now, Johnny Storm and Heat Blast are able to become their own miniature suns by bringing their body temperature up that high. Though there's only one person on here who's an actual walking nuke, and that's Firestorm, who's able to make his own miniature suns and rearrange atoms. And yet, he's still not winning this. Because there's only one person here with an insta-kill move against anybody on this list, and that's Ghost Rider. All he has to do is use the Pen Stare once on them, and they would feel the pain of everyone's sins ever. Not to mention being immortal, it's him. Here we got, which one of these villains has hurt their hero the most emotionally? And right off the bat, I gotta ask, why is Magneto even here? If anything, Xavier's hurt Magneto more than Magneto's hurt Xavier. Xavier made Magneto relive the Holocaust over and over. Actual thing that happened, you're welcome to Google it. Now, there are some people on this list who have done some really messed up things to their heroes. Some are just reskins of Frieza, while others had nuked entire densely populated areas, made Superman kill Lois Lane and his unborn baby, or make entire universes where everything sucks. So when we're talking about emotional damage to one specific hero, no one's a bigger hater than the Reverse Flash. After Thawne decided he didn't want to kill Barry because then he wouldn't have a reason to be obsessed with him in the first place, this man proceeded to dedicate his entire life to making sure that Barry didn't have friends growing up, to make sure that Barry's mother died. If you've seen the "It Was Me, Barry" memes, you probably believed him because of how big of a hater he is. Made Flash experience his wife dying over and over. Thawne's the worst here. What do y'all think though? Now, who is the most forgotten about hero in the DC universe? And I'm getting technical with this one. So gather around for one of the most amazing stories never told, the forgettable tale of Booster Gold. The greatest hero you've never heard of. Now, Booster Gold is a thief who works security for a superhero museum far off into the future. He had the brilliant idea to become rich and famous by taking things from the museum that would give him hero abilities, such as the ability to go through time. So he used his newly taken abilities to go back to the golden age of heroes, when the Batman, the Flashes, and even Superman roamed the earth. And when he goes to the past, he's actually able to end up joining the Justice League, along with making friends with another hero, the Blue Beetle, who ends up being his only real friend. See, there are times that he's even teamed up with Batman, though nobody remembers them. Even though he's possibly saved the multiverse more times than Superman, too. On a daily basis, even. Though in the future he's from, there's no such hero in the past as Booster Gold. There's a reason for that. Subscribe for part 2. Talking about the most forgotten heroes, part 2. Now, to truly understand the tragedy of Booster Gold, it's important to understand that this man has maybe saved the multiverse more times than Superman. He's occasionally teamed up with people of major importance in the DC universe, such as Batman. Though most of the time, his big bads are something that is tearing apart the fabric of the universe, destroying time and space. Usually with him having to defeat them single-handedly, followed by having to roll everything back before the big bad even happened outside time and space. And then usually everybody forgets about whatever good thing was done. So much so that in the future that he's from, there's not even a hero that went down in history as Booster Gold. Though there may or may not be someone even more forgettable in the Marvel Universe than the most forgettable person in the DC Universe. And that's this guy right here, Forget-Me-Not. You know, the guy who saved Wolverine when he was tied to that bomb? No? You have no idea who I'm talking about? He's been with the X-Men this whole time. He's the guy who defeated Apocalypse? No? Well, subscribe for Most Forgettable Heroes Part 3. Talking about the Most Forgettable Heroes Part 3. In the past 2 episodes, I talked about the most forgotten about hero in the DC Universe. And no, I don't mean Dog Welder who welds dogs to people's faces. Now we're going to be talking about the most forgettable hero in the Marvel Universe. See, this man right here is one of the X-Men known as Forget-Me-Not. Or I should say he's not known, because even though he's one of the X-Men who has helped the most in some of the X-Men's major victories, this man's mutant ability is to be forgotten about. Even by the writers, because this man has been with the X-Men the entire time. Once this man is done talking to you, or you're done talking to him, he is forgotten about entirely in that moment, along with not being able to be remembered through any preservation of media. The only workaround for his mutant ability was Xavier putting a ping in his head, making it to where every few minutes he'd be reminded that Forget-Me-Not is a mutant that exists. And even with being there for most of the X-Men's victories, when he dies, all his friends forget about him, with them all glad that everyone made it out alive. Even if he were to save Wolverine tied to a nuke, no one would notice. The Moon is a guy, only he's a part of 3 guys, 4 guys on top of Mark, Steven, and Jake. Though he's also a god who made the first moon. And because he made the first moon, he's able to lift Mjolnir because it's made of the first moon. And the moon's also magic, so technically it decides if you're able to lift Mjolnir. And Dracula owed the moon money. Anyways, what were we talking about? Son about who has the hardest pick in the Rain or Sun? Spider-Man, I guess. This pick goes hard. So here we have which one of these villains deserve their own solo series. And first off, get Wanda Maximoff out of here. We've already had WandaVision. And as neat as it would be to have a series about Hela or even Mephisto, give me the Kingpin solo series. We need this. Fisk is easily the most interesting villain in so many New York Heroes Rogues galleries. Think about it. This man's a regular old mob boss who's buff as shit. Yet he's still able to go head-to-head with people as strong as Spider-Man. I want to see the way this man goes about his day-to-day mob activities while there's people such as Spider-Man or Daredevil gunning for him. Having a show based around his day-to-day while the Daredevil and Punisher are going up against him, I'd watch that. Most of the scenes with Fisk from Into the Spider-Verse were some of the most interesting scenes in that movie. Because again, normal mob boss who's strong enough to go up against spider people, who are strong enough to do things such as in Spider-Man 2 when Spider-Man stopped a train. How does this man go about normal mob activity when people like that are gunning for him? I think that show would be interesting. What do you guys think? Here we have between Silver Surfer and Superman, who wins. And this isn't even a debate. The right side wins by a ton. I understand the argument that the Silver Surfer is a cosmic being who essentially heralds for the end and the beginning of the universe. This guy who eats whole planets so that he eventually will eat them all and start over the entire universe. Well, this guy's his servant and essentially the only person able to hold him off usually when the Avengers are going up against him. That's neat and all. Y'all remember when Superman broke through the Source Wall, which is the beginning and the end of the DC universe? Or when he became powerful enough to turn his own universe into existence because he wanted to. Made his own silver cosmic being who was Lois Lane. Or when Superboy Prime threw a punch that was strong enough to break reality. You know how strong you have to be to break reality? Me neither! It doesn't matter how much reality warping BS the Silver Surfer has. Superman has more! Again, it's this side by a ton, though tell me what you guys think. Alright, so this time we got the gauntlet going in reverse. You got the Boy Scout running the gauntlet against Shazam, Nolan, Thrag, and then finally ending on Metro Man. Now I've said before that Metro Man jobs everybody here across the board, though I'm going to tell you right now, This gauntlet's unfair and you know it. The very first person he's going up against is Shazam. He doesn't even make it past the first fight. Billy is faster than Superman. In some situations, he is stronger than Superman. And he's magic. You know, one of those big weaknesses that Superman has. Now the two Viltrumites here wouldn't even be a problem for him. Universe Buster versus Planet Busters. And Metro Man's the only person here with immeasurable feats without any known weakness. Though none of these three will ever even get the opportunity to fight him. The only times that Superman's able to beat Shazam are things such as Injustice, where he has to get the drop on him and murk him then and there. Which he's only able to do because Billy Batson's an 11-year-old who doesn't think, oh, I need to put Superman down for good. And it says here that they're going after him. Shazam no diffs here. What do y'all think though? So I had a ton of people get upset with me yesterday when I said that Shazam beats Superman. So I thought I should make this video real quick to tell you why you're wrong. Shazam is faster than Superman, with his speed being a gift given to him by the first ever speedster, although not drawing directly from the Speed Force. Now here you see Superman getting absolutely dusted by the Flash. This is usually the outcome whenever the speedsters start taking the race against Superman seriously. When Superman, Shazam, and the Flash all decided to race each other, who do you think was right behind the Flash, making him actually have to try in the race? It wasn't Superman, because Superman was way behind Flash and Shazam. Now, Shazam draws his strength from Atlas, who holds the heavens and everything within him. Superman was barely able to do what Atlas does for half a day. Plenty of instances where Superman does beat Billy Batson, such as Injustice, where he gets the drop on him and murks him before Billy even fights back. Almost every win Superman has against him is because of underhanded tactics being used against a 12-year-old. Not to mention he's magic, you know, one of Superman's many weaknesses. Throwing the first punch, Billy wins. So here we have, out of these 9 being stuck on the same planet together, which one's surviving? Now, if we were talking a simple battle royale, it would be between these 3 who wins. Now, realistically, Superman would win, though I stand by Metro Man being a speedster, so I'm gonna say he wins. Though they worded things wrong here, they used the term surviving. When a fight does break out, it wouldn't be Sentry going up against all these other heavy hitters, it would be the Void. Technically though, Sentry would stay alive, and the entire top row would be able to get one shot by any Viltrumite here. The Viltrumites say trying to take over a planet would be a pretty good reason for a fight to break out in the first place, though none of them are standing up to these 3. And realistically, either of these 2 are able to one-shot any Viltrumite. So I'll just say that these 3 survive. Or it's possible for the Viltrumites just to wait out 500 years and then everybody else goes off and does their own thing. So they survive. What do you guys think though? Who would win in a battle royale and who would survive on the same planet? Hey guys, I just want to tell you real quick that I appreciate you for watching through this video, and if you do enjoy animation, weeb things, nerdy things in general, please think about subscribing. Also, Into the Spider-Verse was the best Spider-Man movie, don't at me.